The Hubitat Elevation. Today we are going to take a look at devices and dashboards, so stay tuned. Hi again, John Stone, the DIY Smart Home Guy. For all of you that were trying to watch the original scheduled live broadcast, something went cattywampus. I don't know what happened. I scrambled to put together a new one. It was not letting me get the stream out, so I had to cancel that and come in and create a new one. So if you're sitting around on the other one, I truly apologize. So we are going to get into dashboards and devices. For those of you that are catching this on the replay, I would like to do a couple of housekeeping items. The first one that I want to talk about is YouTube settings. So on your YouTube channel, on your YouTube video, there's a gear icon down here. I strongly suggest that you come down here, click that, click the playback speed, and set that to 1.5. That's going to make this go a lot faster because this does not have the benefit of being edited. Then you are going to have to do something to speed this up a little bit. See, I get distracted. I'm trying to make sure I got the right screen display and all that stuff is going on. So the second thing that I'd like to encourage you to do is come on down to the DIY Smart Home Guy website, and there you will find a bunch of tips and tricks. There's a whole bunch of videos and device recommendations. There's also a nice how-to section that you can go check out, and there we give a bunch of different advice. There's a lot of stuff in here on three-way switches and how to get those wired in as well. So we're again still kind of waiting for people to see if they can find this stream. I don't know if they will or won't, but we are certainly going to try and give them a little bit of time to come in. So with that, let's go into this video. Oh, the other thing I want to say, sorry, I got a checklist over here that I am trying to keep up with so I can serve you well. Happy Memorial Day. If you or a loved one was in the military, thank you for your service. Make sure that you thank somebody for their service, and to the military spouses, congratulations to you too, putting up with somebody that's constantly deployed and a schedule that our military folk are under. Congratulations to you too, and much respect. So anyway, okay, I think we got all of that out of the way. Hubitat, back on track. Here we go. So here's the deal. I did a video on this about a week ago, and if you watch that video, there's a link in the description, a card, there's something somewhere, you might be able to check that out. But if you watch that video, it is pretty clear that I am pretty jazzed about the Hubitat. I think this thing is a cool little device. It's as excited about a smart home hub that I have been in a long time. It's fast, it appears to be reliable. I've been running it, I don't know, 3-4 weeks now. Appears to be very reliable, still staying very fast. I've got a ton of devices in it. So thought I'd get the word out that there's something fun going on here. The company's been around about a year. In the comments and talking to some people, they suggested I start off with a how to set up devices, kind of some tips and tricks, and what can you do with the Hubitat on device control, as well as talk about the dashboards. So that is why we are all here, is about the devices and dashboards. So this assumes that you either have a Hubitat or you've seen the other video and you're ready, I would say, for part 2. So with that, let's get into it. And of course, there is a live chat over here that I need to try and pay attention to as well. Oh, happy Memorial Day to you too. Salone Kinvon, I just probably really butchered your name. I'm sorry, but thanks a lot. Appreciate the comments. And here we go. So on the dashboards, we are getting down and dirty. So when you log into your Hubitat, you're going to get there and you're going to have this basic dashboard here. And these are the, I'd say, the 7 most common places that you're going to want to get to. And one of the things we'll start with here is on the devices side. And as you can see, I have a ton of devices in the Hubitat, and these all came in fairly easily, I would say, with some exceptions that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. But the first thing, as I would say, with any hub that you want to do, if you are planning to bring in new devices, Let's start, say, for example, with this EcoLink motion detector. Let's get this thing inside. The first thing that you're always going to want to do is you are going to want to, hang on here, you are going to want to reset that device. Sorry, I'm just making sure I got the right camera angles going here. So on the Hubitat, from your devices page, you have this Discover Devices link, and from there that is going to show you your Zigbee options, your Z-Wave options, as well as your Iris. You can set up devices over LAN. We're not going to cover that now. You can set up cloud devices, which I'll talk about just a little bit, and virtual devices, which we will also talk about in this video. So on this Z-Wave device here, the first thing you're always going to want to do is some sort of a Z-Wave exclusion. Okay, so I have clicked that Z-Wave exclusion button inside the Hubitat, and I'm just going to come down here and push this little button, and you'll see that it gives me your Z-Wave, unknown Z-Wave device has been excluded, and that was our EcoLink here. Now, the other thing I noticed on this Hubitat is sometimes after you do an exclusion, if you try to do the pairing right away, 1 to 2 and 10 times it has a little bit of a problem with it. So what I like to do is go back over to this devices. I just click on that again and come over to Discover Devices and go back into Z-Wave, and that gives me kind of a, say, a fresh start on the user interface, and then I can go into the Z-Wave pairing. So we're going to do that again. Come back to the EcoLink, and we're just going to tap that little button, and it found that device. So it's going to go into this initializing state here, and it'll sit there for a little while. All right, so as soon as you get that in there, you're going to see we've got now the opportunity to save this. I'm going to call it a EcoLink, just so it's going to make it pop up at the top of my list. And we'll give that a EcoLink 6 Plus. I was doing commands. So that now is successfully saved. If I come back here to my devices, you'll see that on my device list right here, my EcoLink 6 Plus AA. So let's take a look at this thing here real quick. This is a pretty simple device. It's a Z-Wave motion detector. Not a lot going on with that, but you can see one of the things that you have an option with every single device that you bring into the Hubitat is you can set the device driver. So if you have something that comes in and you know it has a specific device driver, but say it detected as a generic, you can come in here and pick from the list. In this case, really, this is the best driver for it, is the Z-Wave motion sensor. And you can see right now it has 2 current states that it's reporting, and that is the battery level and the motion. So let's come back over here, and actually I'm going to get you here, and if we pass over that, you can see that that turned to active, and I have this in test mode right now, so it's going to reset itself pretty quickly. The other thing I want to point out on this particular sensor is this has a tamper detection, which does not come in as the generic settings right off the bat. So if I open this up, you see that we get that tamper detected. And if we close that, watch how fast this goes. It's just about instantaneously. And then we set that down, and we're going to let that tamper reset real quick. And 3, 2, 1, inactive. And we're just going to run our hand across that again real quick, and you see how fast that goes active. Again, one of the things I really do like about this EcoLink is the speed at which it performs. So that's basically all there is to setting up a device. Now, each device you set up is going to have different options, different parameters. So let's talk about some of the things that you can do with these things. I am going to show you this little bad boy right here. So I put together a bunch of automation rules inside my Hubitat, and this is one of them. And I'm not really going to get into routines, but let's talk a little bit about what this does. I have it set up so that if you open any door or window in my house, quote, that I care about, it automatically sets certain accent lights to green, indicating that there's doors and windows open. There's a timer that runs, and if I go past, I think it's 2 minutes, then it automatically puts an offset into my Ecobee thermostat. So normally, say in the summertime, I have the heat come on at 74 degrees and the air conditioner come on at 79. If eco mode is activated through this routine, it will jump the air conditioning temperature up to 84 and the heat down to, say, 69. What that does is it allows me to have doors and windows open, and that AC or that heater just isn't sitting there throttling because I'm really close to that threshold. And then once you close all the doors and windows again, it puts it back into normal mode, and that's what this routine does. The reason I bring that up is I want to talk about one of the devices that I have in there, which is my TV backlight, which is an Osram Lightify RGBW strip. And go over to TV backlight. And you can see, because this has got a lot more capability to it, you've got the red, green, blue controls and the ability within the devices page to actually set a lot more of the attributes of that. One of the things, the reason I brought you here is because on every device, when you connect that device into the rule machine, which is what they call their automation engine, you're going to get a list of everywhere that device is registered within the application. So you can see I have this particular light strip set up as an Amazon Echo Skill. It's within 3 scenes, which are those eco scenes I talked about. There's a Rule 15 that I've set up, and that's my naming convention, so I keep everything straight. Is my going to bed rule, that's a trigger, and there's Rule 16, which is another trigger, which is the good night. So if I ever want to do any troubleshooting or something's quite not working the way I think it should, the first thing I can do with that device is say, why is that turning off? I can go in and look at the device and see what routines in that rules engine may be governing the behavior of that particular device. And the nice thing is you can click on that, and it's going to take you straight into that rule. So you can see the going to bed rule has a ton of devices in it, but this is everything that's happening with that. Okay, so we're going to stop a minute here and check this out. Brandon, follow your videos, have had the Wing for a while, and I think I'm going to make the jump to the Hubitat soon. Brandon, boy, if you saw that last video I did, my intention with the Hubitat, basically what I did was smart things, what I did with Vera. When I was testing those out, I threw 5 or 10 devices in, played around with it, and went, hey, that's pretty cool. Vera, I really love the power of the automations. The Hubitat, that was my exact same intention. And what I ended up doing was, first off, I couldn't believe how small this thing was. I mean, you literally fit it in the palm of your hand. And I just started dumping devices into it to see if I could really overload it and break it. You know, my Wing Hub started to slow down with about 50 devices in it. And the Hubitat, I'm just still throwing stuff at this thing, and it is still lightning fast. So again, my intention was not to switch to Hubitat, and I have 2 devices left in my Wing Hub. Everything else I have moved over into the Hubitat. So if you can put up with some of the clunkiness, you are going to enjoy the Hubitat. And that's my intention here with these videos, is to kind of help you, walk you through some of the things that really tripped me up for a while. And the other comment, Daniel Paul. Hello, DIY Smart Home Guy. Hello, Daniel Paul. That's my son, by the way. He's tuned into the live broadcast. Good to see you here. All right, so back to, where was I? Back to this device. Again, tons of stuff going on. The other thing I want to point out with these states and all of the stuff that you see on the screen, one of the big reasons you want to pay attention to this is because when you start building dashboards, everything you see in this device, you have ability to control or report on within the dashboard, which is super cool. The dashboards are super powerful. clunky and a little difficult to set up, but again, just having a lot of fun. Be patient with it, and you're going to like it. So that is the OSRAM RGBW strip, which I have a few of those around the house. Let's go down and look at, say, this water pump here. This is the Zeus on-off power switch, and this has power reporting capabilities with it. Let me give you a better view of this here. I talked a little bit about this in the last video, as well as I've used this just on and off for things, but I love this switch. And again, I'm going to kind of refer back to this later anyway. But look at what you can get out of this switch. And again, all of this can come over onto the dashboards. You can get the current reporting, energy reporting, and what have you within the switch itself. Hubitat gives you access to energy reporting intervals, voltage reporting intervals. So one of the things that you need to be aware of when you have a reporting device is every time a device triggers, you know, it's doing something, and there's reporting intervals that are going to come through on these logs. Again, Hubitat, the logging features are amazing. Water pump switches on. Again, there's an automation I have for that. That's a hot water recirculator pump. Did a video on that. I haven't put a link in there below yet. I'll do that after I'm done with the live broadcast. Again, that water pump is key to us in the house of making sure that as we're moving around, we have hot water in the bathrooms and in the kitchen. So again, if you have your reporting levels set too low within the Hubitat, that could potentially cause you some slower response times, because the more it's trying to process device ons and offs and reportings, especially with things like power reporting and energy reporting, things like that, you could experience some slowdowns. But the piece I wanted to show you that was so cool about this Hubitat thing here is I'm going to click on the info about my desk power. And again, that's going to take me right to the device that's reporting on that particular log item. So again, to me, that stuff is super neat in what it allows you to do. And again, in the logs, you can filter these down for water pumps, desk power, what have you. The desk power is another device that I have that it's another one of those Zeus power switches. And I put the desk power in because I run so much stuff here in my studio with the lights, the computer, the monitors, everything. I want to kind of keep an eye on the power usage. It's never really been above 2 amps, but I like to know where it is and what it's doing, just in case. I don't want to be that guy that overloads his sockets and circuits. There you go. So again, power high, that's in watts. Power low, that's when it's off. But the average power is about 185 watts that I'm consuming out of my my desk here, which is good to know. And I keep the reporting interval on that down at 2 minutes instead of 5 minutes like I do on that water heater side. So the good question that you should be asking right now, I expected somebody to ask this in the chat and they have not, is, hey John, how do I know if my device is compatible on the Hubitat? And the answer is, if you go to that add devices, you're going to see this supported devices link. And that's going to take you into a page here that essentially is updated real time by the folks over at Hubitat, or near real time. It's probably not real time, near real time. As they certify new devices to work on the Hubitat, they added those into the device list. Now, this was something that I thought was pretty cool. Remember, I talked about you have the ability to select the driver for the device. When you come down here and look, let's say for that EcoLink, here's that EcoLink motion sensor right here. It's going to tell you that that EcoLink motion sensor works with the generic Z-Wave motion sensor driver. So again, a lot of information in here to really help you out. And you know, hey, this device comes in. I've had devices come in just generic. It just says device. Doesn't work. I come over here, I look, and I find a device driver that works, put it in there, and I'm up and running again, which is pretty cool. The other thing that you'll see here in this motion sensor, this is a hyperlink. If you click on this hyperlink, it's going to give you a lot more information about that device and what you need to do. So for example, we're going to go down here to, I might have passed it already, sorry about that. We'll just pick one for the sake of time. It's going to talk to you about how to do your factory reset, how to pair the device in here. So a ton of instructions. They're halfway putting me out of business. I used to do a lot of videos about how to get your devices to pair. They're giving you the instructions right in the driver list to help you ease that pain. Yeah, I can actually, there is a link in the description to this video, Brandon, that talks about, let's get this, can we get this chat up? Yeah, there we go. Brandon, there is a link in the description below for the compatible device list, and I will post this direct page up here as well right now, right in the chat. So there you go. And as I said in the previous video, I have my Lutron devices in here as well. Now you do have to have the Lutron Smart Bridge Pro, not the regular Smart Bridge. That was another comment that came in this morning. Make sure I talk about it's the Pro. I did say that in the last video, but you got to have the Smart Bridge Pro if you're going to be bringing in your Lutron devices. That gives it the Telnet ability. I'm not going to get into any details here in this video about that. But again, ton of stuff, ton of details that you have with your devices. It is good stuff. So I am going to move over to dashboards just for the sake of time. And again, if you saw my last video, there were some high highs and some low lows overall with the Hubitat. From my research, mostly this is a bunch of programmers that have gotten together to make this. And so it is very rich in terms of what it's functionally capable of. And then there's some simplicity things that just really aren't quite matured yet for the basic users. But let's go over and get into dashboards. So the first thing I want to talk about on the dashboards is if you just fire up your Hubitat, it's not going to start out with just dashboards right there. You have to come in first and add in a built-in app. And you're going to look at the app list, and one of those will be the Hubitat dashboard. Okay, now if you're wondering if I'm going to cover the, where are they, the Sharp tools, smart tile type stuff, I'm not going to do that in this video. But since I already have the Hubitat dashboard already in there, we'll just close this down. And here is, I'd say, one of the bummerish types of things about this is you're going to have to make a dashboard to fit each type of device that you want to put the dashboard on. So for example, I've got a dashboard for my Kindle Fire. I've got a dashboard for the iPhone. We call it the mobile dashboard. I've got a dashboard for my home PC, and then I have a dashboard for my work PC. So again, that's why you're going to see a lot of dashboards here. And if you really want a cohesive experience, again, it's going to be different for the iPhone than it will be for the Kindle. So you're going to have to think through all of that, which won't be too bad. And we're going Hubitat dashboard. Let's go here. So this is my main dashboard for my home PC. And because I have a lot of real estate here, there's a ton of stuff on here, not too bad. But when you go to add the tiles in, let's talk about adding a tile first. You can come in here and you'll search for any device. So I said water pump, you'll pick the water pump, and you're going to say what kind of device is it. It's a switch. All right, and then you're going to pick where on that dashboard you want to put it. First, major bummer, this is not drag and drop. So you can see it just, hey, thanks for subscribing, Nicholas. You can see it put it down here. I wish I could just drag and drop that, but I can't. So now I have to go back up in here and push it up to here where I want it. So again, on the highs and lows side, very flexible in terms of what you can do with the dashboard and how you can put them together, customize it, which is awesome. But again, I wish this had a drag and drop capability. So we'll come back to adding devices in just a second. So for each dashboard that you set up, and this is individual by dashboard, you can describe columns and rows, font size, icon size, grid gap, which is the distance between these, and if you want the rounded corners or not. So let's take a look at this living room fan right here, and we'll go and ridiculously round out those corners, right, which that is ridiculous, too ridiculous. So that is the primary settings of what you can do. You can also pick different background themes if you want to. They name their themes by colors, and I call them, let's see, ugly, 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 almost ugly, mostly ugly. I kind of like that black on gray there, so just kidding. If you like those colors or you have your dashboards in those colors already, don't hate mail me, don't put angry comments in. I'm just messing around. Anyway, just having fun. If you can't have fun, you might as well not be doing this. So I use that black theme there. Then there's a couple of other things you can do on the option side. So for example, I have this little clock up here. You can turn that into 24-hour time or 12-hour time. So that is kind of fun there. Set your date format. Now again, all of these run in either what I call local mode or a cloud mode. This one here I have running locally because it's really fast inside your house. But if you're outside of your primary internet Wi-Fi network, you're going to have to do this in cloud. So then the column width, that is the width of these columns. If I wanted to, I could bring that down super tiny. Don't like that. Bring it back up. And also you can set the row height as well. And for this particular dashboards with the widgets that I have those set at the details that I do. And I have the mobile devices running a little differently. Now here's where it starts to get kind of fun. Over in your setup, which I'm not going to talk about, you can assign passwords to your dashboards. So if somebody gets the link to your dashboards, they're going to have to get the password to get into it, which I love that, by the way. Because again, there is no app yet, unless it came out in the last couple days and I didn't see it. There is no app yet. So you don't have any of the real security around this. You're just passing around a browser link. So can't wait for the app and some of the security that comes along with the app. Hubitat, thank you. Anyway, so let's close this and say one of the features that this dashboard has is if you click in this little icon up here, it is going to show you every dashboard that you have, okay? And we were just on that home main dashboard. So you can get to all the other dashboards from there. So bring that up because one of the options that you have is you can disable clicking on the logo to go back to the main dashboard menu. So if I do that, I'm clicking, can't go back. What I've just done is I've ensured that the dashboard experience for that particular dashboard is constrained to that dashboard. So for example, if I want to go to my Studio Lab dashboard, I can only do that if I give them the dashboard link, which is another type of tile that you have on here. So that really helps out in controlling the user experience of your dashboards and the security of your dashboards. So that's brought me back, and again, it's a pretty closed navigation that you can provide there. So because I play around with these a lot, the other thing you can do is you can hide the 3-dot menu on all of the tiles. What is the 3-dot menu about? So if you remember, when I needed to move that icon, I click those 3 dots and that gives me the ability to change the location of where that device sits on my dashboard, right? So if you want to keep that capability away from the other people in your house, for example, you're going to want to take away that 3-dot movement. Also, again, you could screw up the dashboard widget from here. If I just said, hey, let's turn this into a text widget, then I've just blown away the fact that this is a fan switch. So not going to do that. Close, John. Abort. So anyway, that's what the 3 dots is about. So again, you can control the user experience, hide those 3 dots. You could say don't allow anybody to navigate. And now it really is starting to act more like a standard control panel. So on the tile template names, remember we had to tell it what widget template to use. You can turn that on and off. So for example, over here, this left end table I have set up as a switch. I could hide that. That's going to gain you some real estate. So if you remember on the grid side, shrink your icon down. Shrink the size of your rows and columns here, and then get rid of the miscellaneous words on there, and you can make some pretty tiny tiles so you can fit a lot of stuff on a screen. I see a lot of the Hubitat users do that. You know, we are going after a certain user experience. I'll talk more about that in a second. Hide the icon helper text. This is the on and off. Now most of my widgets, I have a color theme associated with it, so I hide the helper text. I can't figure out what device history is, and I didn't Google it, so hate me all you want, that's okay. And do not use default tile colors. So that is really how you're setting up, I would say, dimensionally what the dashboard is going to do. And again, there's a ton of flexibility, and that is some fun stuff. I'm going to talk about templates in advanced here in just a minute, because remember I said high highs and low lows. Let's go there. So I had a lot of fun in the beginning setting up this mobile dashboard. So this is what the dashboard looks like. You can see it squeezed all the way over here on the left side of the screen. This is my mobile dashboard. And because I wanted to make sure that the other people in my house have as close to an experience as they had with the Wink Hub, I wanted to go with this 2-column format. I could have went with a 3-column format. I could have went with a 4. I could have squished everything down. But I didn't want the change of user experience to be that radical going from the Wink Hub to the Hubitat. So I came up with this here. And I'll show you what this looks like over here on my iPhone as well. So in the center, you're looking at my iPhone. And over on the left, you're looking at that in the browser. So you can see on the iPhone, I've got those widths specifically for the 2-column setup. Now what I like about this better than the Wink Hub is I'm able to put in there the room names. So you see that blue line right there where it says living room. That is actually a dashboard link. If I wanted to, I could not make it a dashboard link, and I could put in this, say this green bar right here. That's just the text, and then it's basically just a header. But this allowed me, and I kind of did this in the Wink Hub, I tried to organize everything by room, but you know, it just all was one big long list. And it's like, look, I don't want anybody pushing that button, it's still on the list, which I didn't want. Here I can control what's on the dashboard and what's not on the dashboard, and I can group it into rooms. And if I want the same device in multiple rooms, I can do that as well. For example, my stairs light and my upstairs hallway light, I kind of think about those as living room lights as well because they shine a lot of light in there, but I think about them from an upstairs perspective and a downstairs perspective just because of how they sit in my house. So I can do that if I want to. I didn't, but I can. But also I can click on this as the mobile link, and I'm going over there now. And the reason I'm showing you this is if you look on the main mobile dashboard, I just have, where am I at here? I just have one tile right here called accent lights, and that controls all of the accent lights in my downstairs living and bar area. But on my drill down or my detail page for the living room, I actually, that's where I put the individual control for all of the lights. So that way I can keep the main dashboard not crowded. I can just keep it with the simple controls, and if I want, you know, the bigger detail stuff, I can put those on the other detail dashboards. So that is how I'm using that. Now, I promised you, I did promise. I promise I did. I promised you that we were going to talk about why this was a pain in the butt. So let me go back to, I'm sorry, I didn't need to click off that. My apologies. Let me go back to that mobile dashboard. One of the last things that I migrated into my Hubitat was a lot of my outside switches. So water fountains, pouring vase, bird bath, yard features that we have, Christmas lights, which is a lot of the GE and Innovelli outdoor switches. I did that last. So I didn't have this section here for outside lights. I had all my doors and sensors and all my motion detectors and everything. So I came in to put in 6 new devices and a header. And if you remember, there's no drag and drop. What I had to do was come down here and move every single device one by one. And I had to do that for 5, 10, 15, 18, 20 devices maybe. 25 devices. I'd move each tile down individually to make room, and then I had to put my new devices in. And okay, it only took about 15 minutes. But holy crap, had I had a drag and drop, that would have been so much faster and it would have been far more enjoyable. So Hubitat, dudes, this is painful. Help, please, please help. Again, I gotta say, one of the things I love about the Wing Hub is it is just so stinking easy to use. And I think there's a big play here for people that are becoming disgruntled with Wing Hub, moving over to Hubitat, but you gotta solve that easy use factor for that particular vertical or that particular audience. So that is that. Sorry, we're going to go back over here. Always forget, I'm not just rambling to myself. I got a live audience here. Brandon. So try to, out on the Hubitat app that was released the other day. I'm sure there'll be another video coming soon. I have been looking for it. I actually looked for it right before this video. I have not seen it. I have not checked out the Hubitat app, but I'm going to. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. So I got a special visitor. This is my wife. Say hello. We got a bunch of people watching. This is my wife. She puts up with me doing these videos. I'm very thankful. Thank you, my wife. My wife is from Thailand. Come back in here. Get in here. Get in here. Get in here. We want to talk. This is an interview. We're going to interview my wife.
Okay.
How do you like the smart home?
I love it.
So do you, now that we went to the new system, is it as easy to use as the old system?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? You use it all the day? All the time?
I use every day.
Every day.
It's awesome. It's the good.
And you use Alexa also?
Yes.
Okay. And so you're happy I haven't messed up your life?
Every day.
Every day I've messed up your life, or you're happy every day? She gives me a lot of crap. Okay. Anyway, this is my beautiful wife.
Bye.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. So that was a special treat. She normally is too shy to jump in the videos, but I'm glad she came by. All righty. So that was that. So back to, no, I didn't know the app was out. I was looking for it. I didn't see it. I was preparing for this. I must have missed it, but I'm going to check that out. Rest assured, I will tell you what I think about that. So, Hubitat, if you're watching, all the ranting I was doing, never mind if the app is out and you have drag and drop. Thank you. All right, so where was I? The desktop. High highs, low lows. Was that what I was talking about? High highs, low lows in this little desktop thing that we got going on here. So again, I have these. Let's show you what this is. This is called a dashboard link. And when you set up the dashboard link, you can hook to any dashboard that you have. And again, to me, that is a super cool piece of this. So I know it feels like I'm jumping around, but I'm trying to take you to a place where we was we defined the grid, we defined the options on the templates. So on the template side, you have here every device type, and I'm searching for switch. So normally the default colors on the switch are yellow, and the text is white. I had a hard time seeing the device description. So on my on side, I changed my background color from yellow to an orange. So anytime there's a switch in my dashboard, turns on or off, it uses the color that I've dictated. And you can do that for every setting of every device that comes into your dashboards. You can also change the icon for every device at the template level, which is super cool. Now, where this is kind of a pain in the butt is I want to bring you back. I have 6, 12, 14 dashboards right now, and I'm probably going to end up with about 20. I would have to do each one of those grid settings, option settings, template settings for each one of these major and minor, or drill down detailed dashboards. I've got to do that every single time, which I don't really like. I did it, but I don't really like it. Okay, so again, Hubitat, if you're listening, what would be really cool is a template class, like a super class of a template where I could say, this is my mobile template class, and I could just set all this up once for my mobile device, and then every dashboard I make for my mobile device follows the mobile device template class, and then I could have a home template class, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. You guys get classes. So that would be really cool, and it would help us out a lot if you did that. Now, to get around that, what I have done is, and I've not done, they've allowed me to do, if you go into this advanced tab, basically the entire specification for your dashboard is right here in a JSON file that looks a lot like cascading style sheety type attributes. So what I did to get around the lack of a class is I said, okay, I set up all my custom colors and custom attributes for all of the widgets I cared about. And I did that, for example, on my mobile dashboard. And then I came into the advanced settings, and you got to be careful here. And I scrolled down till I got to that closey bracket thing, and I copied it. And then I went over to the other dashboards, opened advanced, and copied it in and replaced that custom color section. And once you paste that in, you're going to have to click on the Save JSON Layout. And you do that, and you have essentially found a way that you can replicate I'm going to, again, use my term, the template class across different dashboards. So that's how I made sure everything was consistent. And you can also do that with your heights and widths and grids. You're going to have to stare at it. That's kind of advanced. If code scares you, just be careful with it. Play with it a little bit until you figure it out. And by the way, if you screw it up and you click save and it's not right, it's not going to allow you to save it if it's wrong. And you can just exit out and it won't save your mistakes unless the mistakes are correct, and then it'll save your correctable mistakes. If that makes sense. I'm not sure. I think so. Anyway. Okay, so that is the Dash 'em Up boards right there. I'm trying to think. Let me go back over to my checklist. Sorry, basic, tablet, PC, grid size, options, templates, background, integrating Lutron. There we go. Yeah, so that's it for the most part. Again, I talked about that Zeus power switch. Let me go back over and show you what I'm doing there. This is my studio dashboard here. Now, this is the Zeus power switch that controls the desk power. If I accidentally click that, it will shut everything down and live stream is over, which we don't want that. But here is the power in watts and the power in amps. Glad I did this. It reminded me of something I wanted to show you. And then this is my lab wall. that beast back there, it also has a Zeus power switch in it. Now the reason I wanted both of those there is they're actually on the same lighting circuit in the house. So what's going on back there and what's going on up here together affect what's coming off of that breaker. So I have a total of about 2.1, 2.2 amps that I'm drawing here. Again, it's well under my 15 amp limit, but again, I just like to make sure I'm not overloading the circuit. But that's pretty cool there. You can also put scenes and other things into your dashboard. So this is a scene controller, and I don't know if I have too much light in this room. I'm going to do this and try to turn on, say, my blue scene. And I don't know if you can see those lights turn on back there, blue. And that's the green scene. And then that's the red scene. And again, I got all the studio lights on, so it's going to be pretty hard to see the scenes back there. The blue looks like it comes through about the best. But again, you can set up your shortcuts to your scenes on the dashboards. Loving that. Now, this desk power, the current in amps, I did this by selecting the desk power. So there is my desk power device, and I now have the attributes exposed on this. Remember when we looked at the device attributes? And all of the attributes that you have in that little list that was in that upper right hand corner, I can bring in to my dashboard. Okay, so I could do energy duration, power, what have you. So this particular one, by default, I have a, so let me close this and come back here. This is the power meter, I believe. So power meter is a specific one, which is going to give me the power in watts, but they didn't have a current or an amps. So I just went in and made a dashboard widget for the amps, and I linked up to that current attribute. The other thing that I did is, if we go back to the main, I brought in my Ecobee thermostat. Okay, so you can see that up here. I've got the Ecobee thermostat. Now this is a web integration, which ain't too bad. What that really means is if my internet goes out, my Ecobee is going to go and do its thing all by itself because it's local, and my Hubitat's going to do what it does, it's local. But the automation that I have where you open and close the doors, that shuts off the lights and does all that crap, sorry, that stuff's not going to work because it's not going to be able to tell the Ecobee what to do through the cloud. But the Ecobee still works and the Hubitat still works, so I'm not really concerned. But what you can see down here on this dashboard is I brought in like office temp and living room temp. Those are Ecobee sensors. And let's see, you can see the little Ecobee sensor right there. That's my office Ecobee sensor. I have it integrated in onto my dashboard. The other thing that I've done, and this is through an automation, but it's kind of fun to watch, living room temp, as I said, comes in off of an Ecobee sensor. And I have an automation set up. I didn't plan on doing this, sorry. Living room fan auto on. So I have this routine number 4 here that I have, which is living room fan auto on. And what that does is when my Ecobee sensor temperature goes above 77 degrees, it fires that trigger and it automatically turns on my living room fan. And I have one for my Nook fan, which is looking at not an Ecobee sensor, but a Go Control motion sensor that I have in the kitchen. When that hits 76 degrees, my Nook fan comes on. And when my bedroom, master bathroom, no, I used the master bedroom one. Master bedroom temp goes above 76, it automatically turns on the master bedroom fan. So all my fans in my house, they turn on and turn off automatically by themselves depending on the temperature in the individual room. And some of those I'm using those, like I say, the motion sensors with. temperature detection, and sometimes I'm using the Ecobee sensors as well. So fun stuff with the automation. I'm still playing around, just continuing to tweak all this. Okay, so back to the checklist. Sorry. Okay, we got a smart guy here. There you go. Don't know what I'm watching. I was looking for some. Oh, I got that. Right. Okay. Well, we're gonna block this guy's smart-ass comment. There we go. Sorry. This is where it would be nice if you had a moderator with you. I do all this by myself. Okay, back to the checklist. Building rules, integrating. Okay, I think that is about it. Thanks for everybody who plowed through getting into this thing. Like I said in the beginning. Cool, thanks. I forgot I had that turned on. It happened before. Anyway, for some reason the YouTube video that I scheduled, when I tried to go live with that, it didn't work. YouTube kept telling me that I wasn't logged in, which I clearly was. So I had to scramble and create this new live feed. So sorry that I was late. Sorry that first one didn't work. It was beyond my control, and I was freaking out a little bit trying to get it in here. But hey, thanks everybody for sticking around. This has been almost an hour. I can't believe that. I appreciate everybody that hung in there with me. I do this for you guys, so I'm glad it's working out for you. So with that, if there are no more questions, we are going to try and successfully get out of this video. I'm going to give you 3, 2, 1 on the questions. All right, let's see if I can remember how I get out of a video. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and nope, screwed it up. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to click like. Over here are some other videos that you might enjoy. Until next time, cheers.